Do it.
And we are live once again here.
Live.
You all of a sudden you were very ghostly. Look at your camera. What have you done?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me open it up here.
You looked absolutely perfect until you went and took a piss, and now you came back glowing. What did you do in there?
I turned on the lights in the room. Hold on. Why did I do that?
Way to go, Jerry. Way to go, Jerry. Oh my goodness.
Typical Jerry. That's typical Jerry being unprofessional and trying to like blind everybody.
Oh my goodness. All right, everybody. What's up, guys? JayzTwoCents here. And of course, my co-host Barnacles. It is Tech Talk number 60. PETA wants to protect digital animals. And apparently Satya is a douchebag. All right, guys, go ahead and roll that intro. Tech Talk number 60. JayzTwoCents and Jerry, aka Barnacles.
Cats.
I couldn't really hear you. Your whispering was actually quieter than the
Boots and cats. Okay, there we go.
Oh my goodness. Okay then. So I'm slouching a little bit. That's why I've got kind of this fat double chin thing going on. You can't really see it.
I need to get one of those. What are those things? The compressors. You know, the microphone compressor things. I need to get one of those.
Oh, I was talking about fat chins, and then you mentioned. I thought it was probably like a fat compressor for a second there. All right, guys. So if you guys don't know, Jerry and I actually have some topics today. We did a document here, and our document is full of all kinds of win. I just want to point that out real quick.
Yeah, the document got a little out of control.
For instance, Jerry, you won't see this until the stream goes live, but just to give you an idea, this is what the document looks like. This is our. This is our. Anyway, Tech Talk number 60. 2 fat people enter in at 300 pounds each. 2 fat people leave at 325 pounds each because we ate all the food.
We ate it all. Hashtag food is gone.
You can't take this guy anywhere. Nope. Yeah. So when Jerry and I get on our document and we're preparing it, you know, when you do Google moment, there we go. Now we're going up. All right, we're going online again here.
Ooh, you sound sexier, so it's working.
Ooh. Yeah. Nope. We're going. Time Warner had a little bit of a moment.
It happens.
Your camera's gone though. You gotta bring your camera back up.
Oh, do I gotta bring my camera back? Okay,
yes, sir.
Let me push the little button. There I am.
This is instead of being Tech Talk, this has turned into live tech support with JayzTwoCents and Barnacles. No, guys.
Yeah, I told him it's coming back.
Guys, it's not a DDoS. And even if somebody tried to DDoS, I literally have a brand new IP that I obtained today. So, yeah, no, it's just Time Warner. Time Warner. So what I was talking about was when Jerry and I edit our document, it usually turns into, well, very off-topic, off-track. I didn't show you what's at the bottom of that document because it got a little inappropriate, actually.
It got a lot inappropriate, dude.
Okay, so I'm just waiting for whatchamacallit here, YouTube to catch up because, you know. Oh, sorry, I'm not meaning to cough in your guys' ear. Let me refresh the stream. Tell me when you see the stream going there, Jerry.
I see it. It's working. Oh,
but is it actually going?
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, okay.
Because it froze again.
Yeah, on my screen it shows like it's still stuck on the document. But anyway, there it goes. Okay, if you refresh the page, then it will work. All right. So we're back. Was that actually a childhood photo of you? Because that looks a lot like you. I'm just gonna say.
It's entirely possible. I mean, I've slimmed down over the years. Jerry's
a win right there. Speaking of things we'd like you guys to do, if you enjoy it, you just gotta wait for the stream to catch up, sir.
Oh, so what are we showing here?
You'll see soon enough. Don't worry.
I forgot all about that.
You sent me that photo in the strictest of confidence, and I have never gotten rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
You sent it, I memed it. All right, guys. So we actually have.
That was supposed to be a private moment. Dude. Come on, there's nothing sacred.
What you remember when you sent it to me? I SMS'd you. I sent you a text and I said, "What you doing?" And you sent me that. So it was like, okay. All right, I think we're actually coming back up. Let's see.
Boo, boo, boo. Hello.
Hey, no, I used my phone to go over to Time Warner's website, and there is a outage in my area going on.
Oh, crap.
So, anyway, it says it's encoding right now. We'll just see what happens.
Wait, before you start the stream, though, did you check that option in Skype?
It's going automatically, and it's not. That option is proper.
Because I know I just had to set it myself, because every time you reinstall Skype, you have to do it.
No, it's fine. Like I said, I just verified using my phone that a Time Warner is having connection issues in my area at the moment.
No, that's good. I just wanted to make sure you weren't getting the double whammy.
No, it shouldn't be a DOS. I already checked the router. The router doesn't have any incoming packets. There's no packet communication, actually.
I think it's stupid that they have that as a default option. Like, you'd think that they would store that server side, but they don't on the client if you don't have that box checked. So I was like, son of a bitch. I just noticed it myself. But it doesn't matter because as long as I'm going through the aggregated connection, even if they have my IP, all they can do is beat on the world's like second largest data center.
I'm rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
I memed. You sent it. I memed. All right. So the stream shows that it's going right now, but I guess we'll see. I don't know. We'll just wait and see. If it fails again, then I'm gonna cut out, get the video done I'm working on. And then
no, that's fair enough. Let's go ahead and start it up, and if it hits again, then we'll just have to.
Oh, it's already going. It's automatically reconnected. If I stop it, the stream, then it will end the event.
Oh, so nice. So the stream's on right now? We're live?
The stream is going. The YouTube will not stop the stream, even if it stops receiving data until I hit stop streaming on the browser.
Oh, I see. Very cool.
So even though XSplit's going up and down and up and down, it's still expecting to see something coming from, whatchamacallit. I'm just trying to see where it is on the stream right now. Then it will
Everybody's saying
end
there's like a
the event.
4-minute delay.
Maybe. Like me, I just refreshed the page and now it's like only 10 seconds behind. So
Yay. All right, so
let's go ahead and move into some topics here. You wanted to talk about something developer-wise.
Yes, I did actually. So here, let me pull up our little document here with the fat kid on it. So this is actually good news. So this is the first good news I'm actually going to put out about Microsoft since I'm all butthurt since they laid me off.
Say it isn't so.
I know, right? So basically, Microsoft has decided that they're going to support open source .NET platform. So they're basically supporting two efforts that already exist today, something called Xamarin, which is a development IDE designed for developing cross-platform .NET code, and something called Mono, which is basically the open source version of the .NET framework. These are things that were not officially supported by Microsoft previously. Now they are officially supported by Microsoft, and they're even integrating them into the next version of Visual Studio. So Visual Studio 2015 preview is already out. If you go to Visual Studio, I think .com, you can download it. And it already has all of this functionality integrated into it. So you can actually do Java development in Visual Studio. You can do the cross-platform Mono development in Visual Studio. It's actually a really wise move on their part because the only way that they're going to be able to compete on the app level is if apps can run everywhere. And the alternative is they would have to support basically Java apps, on the modern platforms and everything. So it makes more sense for them to proliferate .NET. So I think that's really cool.
I don't know anything about. I have not followed any modern languages, so this is like doesn't hold a lot of excitement for me.
Well, here, I'll explain to you because it'll probably help some other people too. So if you're not a .NET developer, think of .NET as basically a ripoff of Java. It is. I mean, in every
real quick, Michael Larkin. Yes, my FLAC does have the same fingerprints that Jerry's does.
Oh, hold it up! I got to see this.
I already did, but you might have missed it on the stream.
Okay, I probably missed it. So
it's like on the lower. It's like on the lower right-hand side of the play button.
You know what scares me though is I think it's some guy like scratching his butthole and he's like getting grease on there, and it's the same guy. Our plaques are probably molested by the same guy. Oh, kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, someone said, "Yay, Jay, you got a cheap 100K plaque." Actually, this plaque in the frame is pretty high quality. If it didn't have the fingerprints on it.
I was actually shocked. I like the fingerprints though because it personalizes it.
Oh yeah,
it's like I know a human touched it.
Except now you have some fingerprints of someone who maybe committed some murder and they just implicated you in such murder.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to talk about the topic here before Time Warner decides to take a shit again. But we have to talk about the PETA thing because when you told me that, I laughed so hard. I was like, "This is for real." So here, I'm gonna let you tell the story. Okay, it's awesome.
So. All right, you guys know PETA. It's for the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's what PETA stands for. And basically, it's a group of people who feels that animals are friends, not food. Right. So all animals should be treated with dignity and respect and equality. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, right? Nobody should go out there and start beating your dogs or anything like that.
Unless you're gonna eat them, then it's okay. And don't beat them. Like just you got to one blow.
These are the people that take like, even vegans would be bad because they eat things that cast a shadow, right? So I don't know, something along that line. So if you're with PETA, that means that you believe that animals and humans are on the same level. But
People eating tasty animals.
so what they believe is that there should be absolutely no unethical treatment towards animals, and that sounds like a great thing, and it really is, except for the fact that they take it to the next level of like killing animals in video games is unethical according to them, and they're mad. I mean, they did it when World of Warcraft started doing the little pet battles, kind of like the Pokemon balls, but built into World of Warcraft. They lashed out against them. They lashed out against Pokemon, the series and the game. They've lashed out against Tomb Raider because of all the hunting, and so now they've lashed out against all things, Minecraft.
But just to be clear, it's okay if people kill each other in games, right?
That's the other point I wanted to make.
Okay.
They don't care that people are dying in video games. It's all about the animals. So they have created a world for Minecraft. Now I wanna show some of these pictures actually.
Oh, please do. This is the best part of the whole thing.
Sorry, wrong screen. I accidentally put up your naked picture again.
Oh God, at least it
there
wasn't
we go.
the porn
Fixed
tab.
So they've created this animal-friendly Minecraft world. Now here's the thing: I'm pretty sure they didn't create it. I'm sure that they've sourced out some architect for Minecraft to do this, because I'm telling you right now, this is just some of the most amazing Minecraft work I've
There was
personally
a
seen.
small army of Indians in Hyderabad working on that thing for weeks. I'm just saying. That is a beautiful server.
So they've created an island where all the animals get to roam free and just be free and no longer afraid of being killed in Minecraft. And then they made a slaughterhouse that's been abandoned, I guess. They're like making some sort of political statement of, eating animals.
I saw that it was like Meat Inc. or something like that.
Yeah, Meat Inc.
Yeah.
Meat Inc. is abandoned. The abandoned circus, because we all know circuses are terrible. Clowns are pretty bad. I would if there was a People Against Clowns organization,
Hey, if
I
I
would
wasn't
join
an animal, I would rather like get fed, have a nice pen, and learn some tricks than be out in the wilderness getting shot at by Elmer Fudd.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say there hasn't been, animal mistreatment in circuses, but I just think it's funny how they're putting so much political views in here. They even have these gardens, like these really sprawling gardens here.
It cracked me up because you said sprawling gardens, and the stream just now caught up with me, and I see a room of chains hanging. I was like, "Oh my God, that's perfect!"
But I mean,
Welcome
they've put
to the saddest show. Oh my God,
they put so much work into this world. Now, what I would love is open this world up to the public, and let's just see what kind of griefing happens.
all I want to know is if you can. I have a feeling the world's so locked down you can't even place a block, because I would love to just get on that server and just draw blocks of like big animals without heads and stuff like that. Like, because you can make anything in Minecraft, right? So just go in there and just start drawing giant statues.
Well, they say on here,
build your own slaughterhouse.
I mean, it is open to the public, but it says on here that no animals, not even digital ones, can be harmed on our dedicated Minecraft server. Visitors to PETA's custom-made digital island will explore vast expanses of landscapes where the animals of Minecraft roam free. They can also visit extensive vegetable and flower gardens, walk through a fantastic recreation of PETA's headquarters, and discover an abandoned and decaying slaughterhouse. PETA's Minecraft Utopia will be made live to the public on Saturday, November 15th. To celebrate the launch, we'll have a series of build-off competitions, blah, blah, blah. So I want to know what happens if you try and kill an animal. Does it, like, turn on you and kill you? If so, what statement does that make?
I feel like we owe it to ourselves to try at some point. You guys, if you think we should load up Minecraft and get on the server for the next Tech Talk, let us know.
I don't have Minecraft.
Dude, I'll buy you Minecraft. It's like $9.
I thought it was like 30.
No. Actually, it's probably cheaper. Microsoft owns it now. It probably just has Pepsi ads the whole time.
To leave the starting area, you must build a Pepsi can.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to leave the starting area, you must link your PayPal account to your live account and sign up for the cloud.
I don't know. Our good old friends at PETA, of course, because they have nothing better to do. And like you said earlier when I told you about this topic, I was like, you said yourself, how much money did they spend out of, donation money to create this server? Because they paid someone to build that.
No, they did. Absolutely. And that was obviously a lot of time put into that server. I have seen some beautiful worlds but that takes the cake. Like that is the most like flowing world. Like they said, it's like an accurate representation of their headquarters. I'm pretty sure if they created an accurate representation of the headquarters, they pretty much sent shitloads of photos to somebody and measurements and said, "Oh, hey, go create this."
Someone
I doubt
saying
it was a couple PETA employees.
somebody said, "Look up PETA kills animals." I'm assuming it's some sort of a spoof. Oh, and if you guys are wondering, by the way, I am actually uploading this at 1080p, 60 frames per second, so the replay will be 60 FPS.
Ooh, I'm gonna check that option and see. I want to see this.
It doesn't do it live.
Oh, it doesn't.
It does it on the replay. But I was the last
sad.
several nights I've actually been live streaming up to Twitch with some gaming stuff at 60 FPS, 1080p, and it was butter smooth. Got to say this X99 can certainly handle it.
Hey, someone in the chat asked to recommend a good microphone and a good amp. A2020 and ArtTube MP is what I'm using right now. So if you like the way I sound, that's a good setup.
And if you
Jay,
want
what are you using?
Well, I'm using the Alesis multi-mix preamp with EQ, and this is a Sennheiser E835 vocal mic. It's actually a lead singer mic. If you wanted to go with the AT2020, they also make a USB version if you don't want to fuss with the amplifier. You know what microphone is fantastic, though? And I can't remember the model, and if he's in the chat, I wish he would write it out, is I Am Apropos mic, that like $60 mic.
It sounds good.
It's an Audio Technica also. I just remember the number. It's super warm.
You said it was $60?
It was like $60.
Yeah, because the A2020 is like over $100, and then you still need amp.
No, if you get the USB version of the A2020, there is like a $100 version.
Oh, okay.
But It doesn't sound as warm because you're running a tube amp.
You actually sound pretty warm yourself, and you're not on a tube amp, right?
No, I'm on a USB multi-mixer with the built-in
that's a pretty good job.
tube. It's only a two-band EQ.
You just have a really deep voice, Jay.
Yeah, when I start up TikTok, I'm like, yo, what's up?
Whoa, easy. Bring it up an octave. Bring it up an octave. I don't want to get stuck under my desk.
When I start the stream, I like to say, what's up?
Oh my god. So to round up the whole PETA thing, I think that it is a gross misappropriation of their
funds.
Resources
Yeah.
to go create a Minecraft server.
I agree.
Like, actually, you know what they should have done? Instead of creating a Minecraft server where it's like this utopian thing, they should have just sent an army of PETA people to log into every other Minecraft server on the internet and like run around protecting the animals.
You know who else tried to create an utopia?
Oh, did he have a little mustache?
He sure did.
Ooh.
You look genuinely concerned.
I know. And the way it's growing right now, it's like nothing grows in the center right here.
I know, all you did was block off your mustache.
Remember, I don't know if you remember, but I posted pictures last year, like when I was shaving for Movember. I like stopped halfway through and just left the little Hitler. Right there. It looked pretty bad. It was still super sparse, even at
too
30
soon,
days.
dude. Too soon.
It's funny, everybody's like, get rid
is
of the pedo stash. Dude, I can't. It's Movember. I am raising money, guys. I am running Movember. We're almost at $2,000.
And remember, this is coming from a guy
awesome.
whose mom was born in Germany, so yeah.
Your mom was born in Germany?
Yes, sir.
my
She
mom-
was born in Munich.
Well, my last name's Berg, so I'm sure at some point somebody was born in Germany.
But it's American Berg, B-E-R-G. B-U-R-G would be a little bit more authentic. You're
Yes.
not.
Well,
you're like-
I'm not the best speller, so I'm just gonna.
You're kind of like
my ancestors probably weren't either.
you're like Chinese knockoff German.
Guys,
Misspelling on the box.
so what do you say we move on to poking some fun at Assassin's Creed horror? What is it with gaming companies these days?
I don't know.
Oh
I don't know.
God!
I've been preaching it as long as I've had one viewer. I've been preaching. This is why you do not pre-order games. Period.
Okay, so this is. I want to start this off by saying, okay, first of all, just so you guys know, the topic is Assassin's Creed Unity has performance issues, but not only just performance issues on one platform; it's on all platforms, among other issues, even some non-performance glitchy shit.
Which means that the issue is not going to be platform optimization. It is just downright the engine.
It's just downright something is wrong with the game, and so. And the thing is with I actually kind of want to backpedal a little bit and say that I think that consoles are really screwing up, because the one thing that sets consoles apart from PC, at least in the past, was that consoles, you had to test and test and test and make sure shit was flawless when you released it, because you couldn't easily patch it, right? But
Yeah.
now the new systems like Xbox and PS4, they've basically afforded people the ability to drop patch after patch after patch after patch. And because of that, all the developers have gotten incredibly lazy, and they'll jump the gun and go to market even with absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And we're just like, well, we'll sell it to them now. We'll fix it later.
See, that's the thing. When hard copies were the only option, everything worked every time. Every time.
Like and if you found an Easter, if you found like a bug or a little bug or something like that, it was like maybe 1 out of 1,000 people would hit it, and it was like so rare. People were like, "No way, dude, show me." I mean, it was actually like an event.
Yeah. No, it's so bad now, and I've been... See, here's the problem, and I've said this so many times. If you guys have followed me, I know you're sick of hearing it, but this is something I will never stop preaching. Do not pre-order. Do not pre-order hardware. Do not pre-order software. All the pre-order does is guarantee they get their money before they've earned it. That's all it does. And you get a piece of software like this that doesn't work. They already have your money. What's the incentive to fix it? Oh, well, maybe they'd be afraid of poor reviews. Well, guess what? What's the other topic I have on there? The way Ubisoft is actually stifling reviews. Now, if you guys aren't aware, this is how it works. Not just software, but also with hardware. There is what's called an embargo, and basically that is an NDA. It says you are not allowed to talk about the product. You cannot even acknowledge its existence until the embargo has dropped or lifted. And now, what does Ubisoft do with Assassin's Creed Unity? Before it even launched, they had an embargo date that was 12 hours after the midnight release, meaning Tuesday at noon is when the embargo lifted. So you guys already have your game. You've already made your decision. You've already realized it sucks before all of the reviewers say it sucks, which, by the way, all reviewers are saying the optimization of the game is horrible. And the problem is they can't even move on to the gameplay experience because they're so turned off by the terrible optimization, drop frame rate, stuttering, freezing of the game, to where they can't even enjoy the story. And that's what all the reviewers are saying about Assassin's Creed Unity across the board on all platforms.
Oh, and like just in general, like my Twitter feed, when I flipped over to the discussion feed, I was like, holy crap. Every other third tweet was some bullshit about this game not working right. Yeah.
It's pretty terrible. And you know what that tells me? By them, and now here's the thing, they have an embargo date that's in place prior to ever receiving the item. Before you receive the item, you agree to the embargo, and they've had these reviewer copies for weeks. So that tells me that they've known that this was a problem. They knew this was a problem going into it, and their way of addressing the problem was, we're sticking to our hard release date, we're not moving it, and so we're just going to go ahead and make it so that nobody can say anything bad until way after the release. That way we make sure we get our max profits. That's all it's about to these people.
And by pushing the embargo out past the actual midnight release, you're basically saying they know everybody's going to get it immediately and be like, holy shit, this is garbage. Yeah. And by holding their tongue, that buys them time for everybody else to run to the store and buy up all the stock.
But you know what they do?
Like people that didn't pre-order and just hand their money over to them.
Now, I'm sure that a lot of our viewers, Jerry, do the same thing. A new video card drops or a new product drops, and they immediately go, oh, I wonder if Jay reviewed it. Oh, I wonder if Jerry reviewed it. I wonder if they get to be, release reviewers. And they probably saw, like, what the hell? There's no Unity reviews. Okay, and then they wait a few hours. There's still no reviews. All right, fine. I'm just going to go ahead and get it. So they literally took the legitimacy of these reviewers out of the equation, which is also a problem.
The thing I don't understand is how can they have an embargo on something that's already been released to the public?
I mean, but here's the thing: if you're a reviewer, you also don't want to cross that embargo, or you won't be a part of that review cycle again.
Oh no, right. I'm saying it's a good idea not to, but it's just that raises
strong arm method. It's a strong arm method.
It's like have an embargo up until the actual release, just to give everybody, fair ability to rate the game. But it's weird to have it be on that release. You're basically saying that I know that the first people that play this game are going to be really toxic about it.
Yeah. It's nothing more than a strong arm tactic. That's all it is. And it's terrible.
But again, they just, because consoles now, you can do the patching and everything like that, they just know that they can fix it later. They probably were even in a meeting and they're like, the engine has got some major fucking issue, and for us to fix it, it's going to take 3 months or something like that. And they're like, well, then we're going to miss holiday sales. We're going to miss holiday sales if we hold the game until. So let's just go ahead and just release the beta.
If you know what's interesting? What's interesting to me is all the other instances where we can actually pinpoint a reason why it happened, like Battlefield 4, they wanted to beat Ghosts to market.
Yes.
That made sense. What I can't figure out is...
Not really, because Ghosts end up sucking so bad, they could have just let that shit ship all day long first.
Well, yeah, hindsight, right? But but it's one of those things where I'm trying to figure out why they pushed it, why they held the date. Because even if they pushed it a week, if they thought they could have achieved something and let the QA and development team really work around the clock on this, which game developers who are passionate would do anyway. I don't know why they didn't push it a week. It still would have beat Black Friday.
You know, it's entirely possible that the issue that they encountered is so big that it cannot be fixed without literally another product cycle.
But the problem I'm having is this is just a small piece of bigger problem. How many games have we seen released over the last couple of years now who have just such terrible optimization issues? And an example.
All of them?
Shadow of Mordor is a perfect example. Not Watch Dogs, perfect example. These are games.
I haven't played the Watch Dogs yet, but I heard that it does have pretty bad performance. But
Well,
it
here's the
didn't
thing.
have as bad of problems on the consoles, though, because they nerfed the graphics on the consoles.
Well, here's the thing. The performance of Watch Dogs is one of those things where min, max, and average frame rates on even super high-end cards were like within 10% of each other, and they all were sitting right around the 60 to 70 FPS. Now, a lot of people go, 60, 70 FPS, that's great. Not when you have graphics cards that are capable of pushing high-end games like Battlefield in the 110s. So what that tells you is there's an issue there when min, max, and average are within a couple of FPS of each other. Shadow of Mordor has a 100 FPS cap on the engine. Well, Jay, why do you need more than 100 FPS? That's stupid. Well, you know, there are people like myself who have 144 hertz monitors, and we can push those high frame rates without tearing. No, your eye can see more than 60 frames per second, guys, I promise. So once you look at a 144 hertz monitor, and you go, okay, well, 100 FPS limit, that seems weird when the game is not very intensive. There's a hack that you can do on Shadow of Mordor where you can actually remove the cap for the FPS cap, and you can get into the 130s and 140s. But then you start getting weird texture glitching, which shows the limitation is not the hardware, it's the software.
Yeah.
Which really kind of sucks because hardware is getting pretty damn fast. Like, I'm going to admit, the 980s, they're faster than I thought they were going to be by a lot.
The thing is if it was programmed properly, the frame rate shouldn't be an issue because it's going to render the world, 1,000 times a second or 100 times a second. It sounds to me like a lot of these limitations come from multi-threaded development and moving into using multiple cores in gaming and stuff like that, where you run into weird race conditions where it's like, oh shit, if you let the game run too fast, it cycles too many things before it can refresh the screen or vice versa. And you run into these types of problems.
But here's a perfect example. CSGO. I get about 600 frames per second in CSGO.
Jesus.
If I turn off vertical sync with my three-way SLI setup, if I turn it off, my graphics cards coil whine and scream like banshees. But I get 600 FPS and not a single texture issue in that game. Why? Because it's a matured, optimized engine. Sure, it doesn't have a higher end requirement, which goes to show the hardware is allowed to just run away with it. And I don't like how games don't allow you to do that anymore because you can't. It means you can no longer tailor how enthusiast you want your experience to be. Let's face it, guys. People like me, I don't think Jerry is in the same category, but I know there's people in this chat watching right now who are. There are people like me who the game to me is seeing how many FPS can I push this out of this system on the demanding games. That's the game. I don't care about playing the game. I care about seeing what I can make the computer do. That's my game. And these games, which people are saying, benchmark. Well, people have been saying, Jay, benchmark Assassin's Creed Unity. Why? So I can tell you it's broken like everyone else? I can't even use any modern titles to really push the system anymore because they're not making use of the hardware.
Another little conspiracy theory that I've been thinking about lately is, do you think that a lot of these gaming companies that are building these engines and everything and like changing all this shit up are no longer building for the lowest common denominator? They're building for the highest common denominator, meaning that they're like intentionally trying to make these games. Well, the consoles being they have to nerf them down for the consoles. But I'm saying,
what I mean is, I feel like they're programming for the console.
Really?
I believe
if they were, you'd have. It seems like you would have an incredibly good performance on the PC.
You would think so, but the thing is, if the hardware or the software is being optimized for console, and they have hardware or software optimization that doesn't make use of the high-end hardware, there are actually some scenarios where games run worse on higher-end hardware.
No, you're right there. I mean, if the game is designed and optimized for the specific hardware of the console, and then they didn't take any consideration to the PC counterparts, yeah, you're wasting a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
So that's entirely possible. But it's like when I saw Shadows of Mordor, I went and saw Basher was playing it on his Titan Z Black Edition, and I mean, it looked beautiful, ran smooth as silk. Not a
Did you just say Titan Z Black Edition? I take your tech card, sir.
Why?
Because it's just a Titan Black, not a Titan Z Black. There's no such thing as the Titan Z Black, sir.
Titan Black, I see.
Okay. At least the Titan Black made more sense than the Titan Z.
Can we edit that out?
Sure, I'm gonna edit right now. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, let me edit this.
So I'm working on getting another system built for the Nerd Cave though. So I need to get some Titan Blacks up in there.
Yeah, we've heard this so much now.
Oh, I just want to say, Jay, my dream is to own a system, even if it's for one day.
You own a system
faster than your.
You have one right behind you.
No,
you have one in front of you.
Yours. No.
Oh, you want a system faster than mine? That's
I just want. I know it'll only last for one day because you'll get like 4 black editions the day after I do it. But,
you know what's crazy?
For one day, I want to have a faster system.
You won't see them on the stream for a little bit, but those parts sitting right back there are tiers above yours, and they're not even put together because I don't have the time.
Yeah, my 680s are pretty dated. They really are. Although I figured out what I'm going to do with them. I'm not
talking about graphics cards. I'm talking about the whole system. My test bench.
I hate you. Just stop talking. Oh my God.
No. If there's one thing I get to hold over your head, it's the fact that my systems are better than yours. You have a better man cave, a bigger channel, an audience that actually puts up with your craziness. I get to have I get to have a computer better than yours, sir. That is the balance in this universe.
Did you say computer? How about plural? I'm pretty sure that at least 3 of your systems in your room are better than anything I got in here.
No, not in the moment. My Z97 system still would not be better than an X79.
Yes, I needed to hear that, Jay. Thank you.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, I did see some cool systems though when I visited Puget Systems the other day. They had some Xeon systems there that I haven't seen before. That had 4 processors. The motherboard was literally 4 staggered Xeon processors, and next to each processor slot, I think was about 4 or 6 RAM slots. So it looked like you could put 4 Xeons in there and about 256 gigs of memory.
Yeah,
and I was thinking to myself,
workstation grade stuff.
I know. I don't know. I know it's not good for gaming, but God, for like a render system, that would be freaking amazing balls.
Do you want to talk? You want to talk about what amazing is?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Well, here we'll talk about amazing for a second. One of the rendering stations that I was sent a picture of. Let's just put it this way: 72 threads.
Like hardware threads.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
2 18-core, 36 thread Xeons in one server.
I didn't even know they made Xeons that had that many threads. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's Haswell E.
So you have it has 18 physical cores on one processor?
18 physical cores, both with hyperthreading, 36 logical cores per CPU, 2 of them, 72 threads in one system.
Yeah.
But it's the same server. Remember the server I showed that had 8 GPUs in it?
Yeah.
It's that.
Oh wow. Well, I got when I looked at the system and I figured out like how much they cost. I mean, they start at about $11,000 to build like a low end quad core or a quad CPU Xeon rig.
Those are guys doing like massive 3D CAD.
I know, but could you imagine like for everything? Like I'd like to actually be able to like render video in 4K and have it just be real time, like export video.
Here's the terrible thing though, that 72 thread system. If I told Adobe to render, it would not be entirely that much faster than my current system, only because
the GPU is that much better at doing it.
Well, no, not only that, Adobe, it's consumer software like Premiere does not make optimized use of it. So it's
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's better than Premiere for video editing? I can't think of a single other video editing.
No, there's lots of actual Hollywood grade stuff out there that is using these types of servers to do the rendering.
Well, that's crazy. I always thought the Premiere was kind of like the top tier editing program.
Oh no, there's actually stuff quite above that in the professional suite.
Nice.
See, that's the thing. Like Adobe, like Premiere would be considered like consumer pro, but there is prosumer stuff for software as well that would use that sort of stuff. What's funny is he also sent me a screenshot of what the actual Cinebench score was on that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is I don't remember exactly what the score was, but I remember comparing it to mine. Let's say, I don't have a picture of it. Anyway, let's say I think my score was like 1700. I think it was like 1700 on Cinebench. That one ended up being something like 4900. Something
really?
Crazy. Yeah. No, it's not a linear progression of performance. So, right. I mean, I've got 16 threads. Those are 72 threads. It's not like it's going to be 8 times the performance. or whatever.
Well,
it
one
is.
thing's for sure, I'm not going to spend $11,000 for just the motherboard, processors, and RAM. That's kind of out of the question.
You don't need it. If you were, I mean, if you made your living off of 3D CAD modeling, then you would. You know, if you were actually doing like wireframe real engineering, then you would.
That's true. And about the biggest thing I really 3D model is like little coins and stuff. So
I mean, think of it this way,
about
like architects, for instance, right? I mean, you've got your slicer that does all the work for the 3D modeling, right? But
Yep.
these guys have like World Trade Center on a desktop. You know what I mean?
Oh, did I tell you what I'm going to be getting into here in the next couple of weeks?
Animal porn?
Well, no, that was last month actually. No, no, cryptocurrency. I'm finally getting into it, like when it's already kind of played out and everything. But you know, that's my style. That's what I do. But no,
I
was
would love to
contacted,
see how
like,
long it would take your 680s to mine something.
No, here's the interesting thing. A company contacted me that makes the big iron ASICs rack mount servers specifically tailored for mining.
Why would somebody contact you about doing mining when you've never done it? Oh, because you can print a plastic coin.
I printed a Bitcoin and they found this video and they thought that it was the tits. So they contacted me and they're like, "Hey, we saw your Bitcoin printing video. Are you actually interested in cryptocurrency?" And I was like, "Printing money sounds fun."
Yeah, they're gonna send you all the equipment, everything you mine. They're gonna bank.
No, they already said. It sounds to me like, I mean, it's not finalized yet, but it looks like they're going to send me 2 of the big iron Bitcoin servers and a Litecoin mining server, all ASICs, each one consuming 1,000 watts. And I'm just waiting for them to send me back the data on the projected revenue. But they said I can keep the revenue generated by the machines while they're in my possession. I'm going to keep one of the machines and send 2 of them back. So I figured,
Weird.
why not give it a try? I mean, kind of seems like fun a little bit. Because apparently these things mine 100 times faster than like a quad SLI GPU rig or whatever would. Like
Yeah.
they're insane crypto rates. So I figured, why not give it a try, you know, and see what it does. But I'll probably have to put the systems in the garage because he said that they are pretty loud. I mean, they're 4U rack mount systems with 120 millimeter fans in the front.
Kev runs on Duncan, says the insult on Jerry's 680s. Jay, chill, man. No, you got to understand. This is how you get Jerry to upgrade. You give him shit, and then he will upgrade.
That's what you got to do is you basically have to just lure your better stuff in front of my face long enough, and then I'm like, man, I want that. But the problem is Jay has to work at it a little harder now because I no longer have my awesome Microsoft job where I could just afford to go on Newegg and be like, yeah, I think I'm going to build another $10,000 rig this week just for shits and giggles. Now I got to be like, I got to figure out a way to get a nicer computer without spending a whole lot of money. And that's a new thing to me. Like, I've had to do that for 15 years, so.
No, you've got to be good at marketing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty decent at marketing.
You know what? I'm getting there. I'm trying to get it all figured out. Because the thing is I don't want everything that I do on my channel has to be something that interests me. Because you know me, I'm like raging ADHD, right?
Well, your channel started with PC, so it should be centric. You're not as PC centric as you used to be.
No, I'm saying PCs are one of those things, but I'm just saying from the marketing perspective, it's like certain things interest me and certain things don't, right?
Yeah.
Like you like building systems and benchmarking. I like building systems, but I don't like sitting there and doing the benchmark and talking about chipsets and shit like that. I mean, that's your thing. You're good at it. I like plugging the system in and playing a game and being like, look, I'm getting 1,250 frames per second shit. Yeah, and it didn't crash. That's kind of my style.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
People are telling you to wait and not upgrade to wait for the 980 Ti. Those are rumors right now. I don't know if a 980 Ti or AKA Titan 2, whatever they're going to call it, the big GPU is coming out. All I can say is if history repeats itself, they ran the 104 GPU, the GK 104 for the entire 600 series and didn't debut the 110 until 700 series. You could potentially be waiting a year. But if you buy anything today in terms of NVIDIA graphics cards, you very well could buy right before there's a new series launch. But it's a risk you take anyway. If you wait 3 or 4 months, AMD is not far from the 300 series. So no matter what, you could play the what if game.
No, and that's just it. Is there's actually a law that's observed here, and that is anytime you buy a computer part, the next better thing comes out a day later. It just happens. It doesn't matter if you wait a year or 10 years. It's going to happen. Like, even if, like, the brand new thing came out tomorrow and I bought it, like, within a week, another better thing would be out.
At least it feels like a day, you know?
It does actually.
You know, I have to admit though, one, I won't be getting GM210 GPUs. I'm fairly certain because there's no way in hell VGA would send me 3 of those right after sending me 3 of these. But the 980s, God, they are freaking powerful. They are so powerful and yet so cool and so efficient. When I'm still running these 1080p monitors, God, there's just no need. There's just no need for anything more powerful.
It's true. The thing I don't get though is like the crazy resolution screens that are coming out now, like the 5K screen that's coming out by Dell and the one that's in the iMac. The iMac has, what is it? Is it a 980 mobile chipset? I think it has in the iMac, and it's driving a 5K screen. I mean, it can't drive. I can't imagine it's driving that screen like at any level you could game on.
No, but my iMac isn't about gaming.
That's true.
I mean, remember, all iMac is their MacBook Pro shoved into the screen.
Yeah. Oh, did I tell you I'm getting my first 4K screen? It'll be here tomorrow.
Nice. Is it from Monoprice?
It's a Monoprice 28-inch 4K screen, and so I'm going to do a review on it.
That's the same one Pulse Hardware just did a review on.
Oh, really? I'm going to go watch this video and just steal all of his stuff. And then
the only downside to it, at least the only downside to it, personally for me, is it's a glossy screen.
You don't like glossy screens?
Too much reflection.
Oh, yeah, this is a glossy. I already have a Monoprice 1440p, and I've actually been really pleased with it. The color is off a little bit, though, on it.
It's IPS, isn't it?
It is.
You still have to calibrate it.
How? It has no calibration controls on it. Would calibrate it in software? Or?
You can calibrate it in software, but you'd have to have a calibration scope.
I think I'm going to order one of those because something about it is just a little off. Like the colors are a little more vivid than they should be, and the contrast is a little off. So, but other than that, I absolutely love the screen. But what I want to do with the 4K screen is I want to put it behind me on this rig over here and use that for my video editing, because I like having the big screens for doing the video editing and everything. But when you distribute that much UI across that big of a surface, I mean, I'm literally like this looking for shit.
Yeah.
Constantly. So I want the 4K screen so I can still have a 1080p preview window and everything else in the timeline all in one peripheral view.
Right.
And I think that'll actually help with my editing a lot, because right now, I mean, shit, I get lost in this wall of screens. It's great for gaming, but when you're doing stuff where you have 1,000 options everywhere and a bunch of little icons, I mean, it does tend to work against you.
Someone asked me if I'm going to be getting the Asus Swift monitor review. Nope. The Asus Swift is a pretty monitor, but it's not a $900 value monitor as far as I'm concerned. I get it, it's G-Sync, I get it, it's 1440p, and I get that it's 144 hertz, but it's still a TN panel, and a $900 TN panel, no matter what's crammed inside of it, to me just doesn't sound right. That's all I'm going to say. Someone else up here, I think it was Tim C, said, I'm sick of NVIDIA's so-called improvements. You know what? The 900 series, the 980s, and the 970s, they are by far an improvement over the 700 series. I'm sorry. You don't even have to be an NVIDIA fanboy to think that. It is just a downright fact that the GM 104 GPU is extremely powerful and efficient for what it is. I mean, that's the reason why they're able to bring you a $300 graphics card that can beat the 290X. It dropped the 290X's price by $200. You have to appreciate that if you're an AMD fan.
Yes. Oh, it's funny. I just got a tweet from Shimmy. It says, hey, have you asked the Digital Storm guys for a PC yet this stream?
Oh, yeah, because we do it like every stream.
Not,
yeah, no need.
Not this time. No need. They'll message me when they message me. I've actually got multiple things going on right now, so I've got best options.
That's the best part is the options. Especially when you chase and you chase and you chase, and then all of a sudden someone else from the side is like, "Hey," you're like, "Oh, hey, let's talk."
Yeah, no, I'm talking to a couple different PC builders. Don't get me wrong, Digital Storm builds amazingly beautiful systems, but there's some other builders out there that are doing some equally amazing stuff. So
yeah,
and they're interested in working with me too. So I'm just seeing what's going on. I mean, I am talking to Digital Storm, and they're trying to figure out what they can do or what kind of partnership that they would like to do, and the other companies are. So I'm going to weigh all the pros and cons between them and figure out the best direction for the channel moving forward. I
love Digital Storm's attention to detail in the design of their systems.
Yeah, their shit is beautiful. But you can't deny that.
But that is also the very reason why I would never buy one, personally.
Why? Because it's too blingy?
No, because personally, as a system builder, I wouldn't buy any boutique system, first of all. But as just, if I tried to take my current needs of a PC and transplant it into the idea of someone who can't buy one,
Yeah.
I have to wonder how much that bling is costing me on top of the performance.
Oh, you're definitely paying a premium for it. I mean, you just are. But with you, for instance, it's like you know how to build something like that. You know how to put something together, and your shit is absolutely gorgeous, Jay. Like,
I take
Jay,
pretty
you want to
poops.
sponsor my channel? You want to sponsor my channel, Jay?
I take pretty poops. Oh, you got to write me an email so it's sitting in my inbox with all the other requests to sponsor their channels.
But I would have to say, of all the PC builders that I've seen so far and their builds, just from a bling water cooled system standpoint, Digital Storm is the closest I've seen to your quality of build.
No.
From an aesthetics perspective.
Let's be honest. Digital Storm's builds are aesthetically more pleasing than mine, but that's because they have. No,
I wouldn't say that, because you've made some pretty damn impressive shit.
No, I have, but most of my stuff is just small modifications to readily available cases. Digital Storm gets cases made for them. That's where you're set apart with Digital Storm.
No, you're definitely right there.
I mean, the nickel
chrome acrylic tubing. That shit.
It's not.
Oh my god!
I was just about to mention it. That's not chrome acrylic. That's actually either a copper tube that's been mandrel bent and then nickel plated.
Okay, that's just badass.
Yeah, so they take the crapper tube. They take the copper tube, they mandrel bend it, you like fill it with sand or whatever. You mandrel bend it, you get it all polished up, nice and smooth, and then they nickel plate it, and then you get that. So there's a lot of time and effort put into it. And I've actually been wanting to do that. I actually have a nickel plating supplier locally that would be able to do it. I just haven't had the time or the ability to do it. I mean, as you know, I'm stretched so thin, I don't have the time for that sort of stuff. Even Skunkworks was rushed to a degree.
Well, no, and that's like where I'm coming from too. Is I originally wanted to build another computer because I built this one, and we all saw how good I did with the cable management and the airflow
it's flawless.
And all that shit.
It's absolutely flawless.
It's. I mean, seriously. I mean, you can't. It's so bad. It's good.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I showed your computer to Michaelin after she built her computer.
Yeah.
And I said, "Look at Jerry's cables." She goes, "Ew."
her and the rest of the internet. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed about how. Now, for the record, when I first built that system, when I first got the components and I built it, I took my time and I made it look. I'm not gonna say great, but it was a lot better than it is today. It's like over several upgrades. I get impatient and just start throwing stuff together because I need to get it back online, and that's why I want to go kind of the direction now of working with a PC builder. I want to work with a company that's dedicated to doing custom PC building.
That's too bad. That's too bad. I would have loved to have teamed up with you on the build.
I thought we couldn't. I thought I asked you and you said you couldn't do it.
No, you asked me to sponsor you. You didn't ask me to help you build it.
Well, yeah, but
I would have taken a flight up there for 3 or 4 days to do a build with you. If you have the parts,
it's still in the cards technically. So
yeah, you get the parts to sponsor for a build.
A cool video. That would be a really cool
I would
video.
fly up to Seattle just for the specific purpose of doing the build.
Well, regardless of which builder that I'm going to be working with and partnering with, I am going to take part in building the PC one way or another. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I'll go to them. I'll go to wherever they're building the PC because I want to do a video series on it. And the thing is I want to go and see somebody who's, I mean, they're creating these systems, they're cranking them out, they're testing them. Like, I was shocked when I went to Puget Systems and saw that they actually had like a noise canceling room with a FLIR camera that was heat controlled, and they're take imagery of each and every system. And I was like, how can you guys do, like, I would not have the patience to go through that level of like meticulous assembly line work, right? I mean, they build the system, they test it again, they install it, they test it some more, they take heat pictures of it. I was like, this is phenomenal. I never would have saw that. And then you probably go to like Digital Storm and it's like, you've got pipe benders bending metallic pipes and putting them into places and all their jigs and everything to like put these systems together meticulously. I want to be a part of that. I don't want to just open a box and get a computer. Just like somebody who buys a Ferrari, right? You go buy a Ferrari, you have the option to actually go to Italy, watch it come off the assembly line, go turn a couple laps with it on their tracks. I mean, I want that experience because I want to share that experience with my viewers. I think that a lot of people would get a kick out of that. Okay, it's one thing to open a computer, hook it up, and be like, here's some benchmarks, and here's how fast it is. It's another thing entirely to say, this is how this company is actually building these things.
Yeah.
And I want to be wowed. And you know, seeing this stuff, I'm definitely wowed. They do a lot more than I would do personally, because I'm not gonna go buy a $5,000 like freaking FLIR camera, I'm not going to go build like a photo booth and everything to photograph like every component in the build of the system and everything. I'm just not going to do those things.
And I love fractal design and I love Puget, but I also am of the mindset of that's a bit over the top and not necessary. But it's neat that they care on that level to find where the heat soak spots are and where the airflow is going and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, but that's just it. As you know me, I'm overkill, right? We're talking about a guy who built a water cooling system, which the whole point of building a liquid cooling system is for it to be quiet, right? I mean, that's
really.
like one of the key tenets.
Not really.
Come on.
No, if you take fans and put them on a radiator, it can be noisier than an air-cooled system because there's more turbulent sound going through those fins.
But I thought the whole point is to get an efficient radiator so you don't have to crank air through it at like 1,000 psi for it to be efficient.
No, it doesn't necessarily work that way. If you
Jay,
go look,
killing my argument here.
Well, because your argument is one of the water cooling myths I spent time debunking.
Okay, let me ask you this: is it really necessary for me to have 12 ultra cozy fans in a push-pull configuration on two 360 rads, all to cool just my CPU?
No, but it's not even necessary for me to have a 480 by 45 mil rad for my one CPU either.
This is true. So I think we've established at this point that we both appreciate overkill.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's especially with water cooling, it's better to have too much than not enough. Now, what you could do, Jerry, is if you took your fans that are on your 6 or what? Okay, you have 12 because they're push pull, right? Yes. So if you took all 12 of those fans and you ran them at 35% fan speed, making no noise, and you monitor your load temperatures, they'll be exactly the same as they are right now running footballs to the wall because you're already beyond the BTU capability of how much those radiators have to cool.
Yeah, I actually really need to clean out my loop. Something's wrong. The pump is struggling. I'm not moving fluid through the loop as fast as I was 6 months ago.
Rubber tubing?
Yeah, it's rubber tubing.
You've probably leached plasticizer and it's all gunked up in your CPU block.
It's definitely gunked up because right now I am having to run the fans at almost 100%. If I back them off even by 10%, the system will hang under load. And when I first built the system, I only had to run the fans at about a quarter speed.
Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious that stuff's not moving like it should. So that's another reason why I was really interested in doing a system with like metallic or acrylic pipes or something like that, is because I want a system that's more durable. Or do the acrylic pipes do the same thing?
No, acrylic pipes don't leach anything. In my system, I actually have everything underneath the motherboard tray or behind the motherboard tray and underneath the floor is actually soft rubber tubing. But I change things out so often it will never have a chance to leach.
No, that's good. That's what I'm going to go with because you can tell the pipe is like literally etched. If you look at it used to be crystal clear piping, and now it's blue pipe, like solid color blue piping. If you take
it apart and you take your finger and you stick it in the hole and you ream it like that, it'll all come off. It's not hard. It's it's not stained. Well, it might be stained.
Well, I'm wrapping my head around the words that you just said.
Oh, don't worry, you'll see it on stream, and I'm sure it'll get. Remember, it got GIFed before with me sitting there doing the.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know how people come up with those GIFs so fast. I don't even know how to make a GIF.
Let's see. Did we have any other topics in here?
No, we can't. We just can't talk about the inappropriate stuff we put at the last topic.
Yeah, we can't talk about the inappropriate stuff. There is some ASCII art involved. We'll go that far as to say the topics became ASCII art.
That was an internal discussion. Is what that was.
Yes.
So. Yeah. We've got 30 minutes left in this stream, and the way we always do the last 30 minutes is our Twitter and comment blitz. If you guys tell us what to talk about, and we'll talk about anything. Doesn't even have, or put it in the comments. It doesn't even have to be tech related. We just like to have fun and hang out with you guys. There are about 1,200 people watching right now, and that ain't not too bad if you ask me.
No, that's not at all. That's really cool.
Can you guys talk about?
We actually got some topics today. Yes, topics.
Can you guys talk about the Asus eBook X205TA? That is far too specific. Sneezing Panda Gaming cannot talk about that. Sorry.
I see.
Jay's career as a fat person? Well, I used to be a bigger fat person, but then I became a smaller fat person, so my career is apparently going the other direction.
Let's see. Panos Papadopoulos says, "Come on, Jerry, don't sell out. Jay offered you his soul, and you sell it for money. I'm really sad right now." I think he's referring to me not accepting your offer to come build me a computer or help me build a computer.
Well,
I haven't said no yet. Like okay. It's still possible.
You have to weigh the options. If nobody's going to sponsor the individual parts, you have no choice but to go with a boutique.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, and to get all the sponsors on board, trust me, I've gone through this multiple times. You have to get a motherboard supplier, a CPU supplier.
Yep.
Okay, CPU you're probably gonna have to buy anyway, but motherboard supplier, power supply, graphics cards, RAM, cables. It takes a lot of coordination.
You know, another reason why I want to go with the builder, and let me be specific, a custom builder. I don't want to just buy like, out of the box mass produced PCs. The reason why I want to do this is because the most common question I get asked over and over every day on Twitter, Facebook, and email is, look at what system should I buy? What gaming computer we buy? What's your gaming computer? They send me PC part pickers list and say, hey, what do you think about this build? Would this be a good gaming machine? I want to be able to have firsthand experience with a custom builder that builds this stuff and be able to say, what would be a good computer to buy? What are you using? I am using here it is. Here's the link. You go to this link, you can buy the exact same computer that I'm using, even though it's custom.
Boutique system builders are very stingy, though. They don't like to send anything out. Like, I've been going back and forth with CyberPower PC for, 2 months now of them promising to send me something, all the way down to getting my address and promising me tracking numbers that have never shown up. So it's like, okay, look, there's plenty of people watching me right now who would love to just go buy a system. And I'm willing to send people to a product to say, hey, check this out. Maybe this is an option for you. But system builders as a whole, they don't like to send that stuff out. And I'm almost afraid that they're hiding something.
I hope not.
You never know. I'm not saying that's true about Puget. Like, Puget would be a boutique system. CyberPower is not a boutique system. CyberPower is a mass-produced, assembly line.
Yeah, like literally, I was legitimately shocked when I went. And the video is coming out, guys. I'm actually editing a video. It'll be up tomorrow of my tour of the Puget Systems facility. And what shocked me was it was nothing like what I was expecting. It was like, think Ma and Pa computer shop, like going in and having, real people you talk to that you have real needs and they can do anything for you.
Yeah.
I was half expecting to go in there and be like, okay, assembly line, we're building 40 of these systems today. Okay. It didn't feel like that at all. It reminded me of back when I worked at Mothersboard Computers and we were building computers. It seems like the type of company you can call up on the phone and be like, yeah, that system I just ordered. Yeah, I want to add another SSD to it. Hey guys, can you install this piece of software on it? And they would be like, yeah, no problem. We got this. It seemed personal. It seemed like a really personal experience. I like that.
So Zach Skubik, I think that's how you say his name. He used hashtag AskTechTalk. And by the way, you guys should all be following on Twitter, by the way. And Jerry will put his shirt back on, he promises. What do you think about rendering benchmark on the... Actually, let me do this. Let me... That's not that question I actually wanted to answer. Sorry, Zach. I don't follow benchmarks on Mac. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Michael... That striker guy says, what are the best variations of the GTX 970? Well, Michael, the only 970 I've had my hands on so far is the G1 Gaming from Gigabyte. Absolutely fantastic GPU. I love everything about that GPU. I hear the Asus Strix is kind of nice, but I'm kind of noticing a trend where Asus is liking to load up their card with all kinds of buttons and shit that people really just for the most part don't care about. So I don't know how much of that is needed versus not needed bells and whistles. It's kind of where my problem with the Matrix Platinum was. It was just loaded up with a bunch of shit that didn't do anything for anybody. So can't go wrong with that Gigabyte G1 Gaming if you can find one. Gigabyte cards are sold out around the world.
Let's see here. I saw a coding question just a minute ago. What was that? Let's see. Jamie Rice said, I'm learning C#, and I'm curious why people prefer C languages over Java. Well, it's a little bit of a generalization. Depends on the people, but the majority of developers, the reason why they prefer C syntax languages is because throughout their career, before managed code came along and became really popular, they were native code developers, and the predominant coding language that was used was C and C++ across the board on all platforms. There were other languages you could use, but that was the most common. Yeah. So people just like a syntax that's familiar. That's what it comes down to. But to be honest, Java isn't that much of a departure from a C syntax language. So realistically, if people prefer .NET over Java, it's just because of their background. It's where they started.
Yeah, the questions are flooding in right now, mostly because people are spamming. Guys, don't spam or I'll mute you, especially on Twitter. Let's see here.
Don't spam the twits.
What do we think about new computer architectures like HP's machine? I don't know what that is. I don't follow a lot of that pre-built stuff.
HP created, God, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but HP created a machine that basically had an integrated 3D scanner in it. I mean, it was just really, really weird. But I talked to Chris Perillo, and he used it, and he actually liked it. He thought it was really cool and different. So, now I want to reserve judgment until I actually get my hands on it.
Let's see. What are some good
here's
100?
one.
What are some good 120 millimeter by 140 millimeter case fans that are both good for cooling and reasonably quiet?
That's a Jay question.
But there's a lot of hype in fans too. Let's be honest here. Fan technology is one of those things that it's a lot of R&D that goes into there, but they also do it in these perfect environments. The fans are always tested. I don't have a fan within reach here. The fans are always tested in perfect open air situation where there's no obstruction behind it, no obstruction in front of it, and they'll be super quiet. But the moment you put some sort of obstruction behind or in front of it, the whole dynamic of the fan and the sound signature changes. I personally, as much as I'm not a huge fan of the company as a whole, really like Corsair SP and AX series fans.
What do you think about the Noctura fans? I hear a lot of people talking about those all the time.
I never used one because they never aesthetically fit in any of my builds, but I've heard that...
Well, it's because they look like UPS made them.
Well, they have a black version now. Linus reviewed one a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know. People say they're great. I've never used one. Another fan that I really like is Noise Blocker's E-Loop fan.
I've never heard of that one.
They look good. They're very good at low RPM, high static pressure, but they also are pricey. They're like $20 a fan.
Figures. Kyle Johnson asks, Jay, do you think consumer-built laptops will ever be as big as consumer-built desktops?
I think they're a lot bigger than they used to be. Do I think they'll be as big as consumer-built desktops? No, I feel like the laptop will give way to the convertible tablets.
I think the biggest problem with the laptops, and I'm guessing by he's saying like the consumer-built laptops, he's saying the customizable laptops, basically, right?
But what's a customizable laptop, really? You can change the RAM on most laptops and the hard drive maybe, but you can't change the GPU or the CPU. So what's customizable?
That's a good point.
It's not like there's laptops out there currently that are mainstream where you can just plop out a CPU and put in a new one or change the motherboard, change the GPU. I mean, they do exist. I'm
interested now because like Puget Systems sells custom laptops, and I'm trying to figure out what makes them custom.
Let's see. Somebody asked Jay, "What do you think about the BitPhoenix Spectre Pro fans?" I don't know. I tried to get them to send me some for Skunkworks, and they refused. So I don't know. I don't care. I've never used one, so I don't talk about it.
Wow, this is pretty configurable, actually. I'm looking at their laptop options. You can select from 3 different screens, 4 different processors, 6 different memory options.
Okay, if we're talking
6
about
different GPU options.
But if we're talking about configurable laptops at time of build, not like a laptop that you can upgrade later, that's not new. I mean, you've been able to do that from boutique laptop builders for a long time. Like my boutique laptop builder that I would go with, and you have no choice really, and you can't just go out and build your own laptop. Is I like Sager Systems. Sager is a really good company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you can do all that.
The other thing too with laptops is anytime when you add configurability to something, you inherently add weight and size to it too, because you have to. It's modular, right? So I think with laptops, because people are so worried about battery life and max battery capacity and weight, that's why you see upgradability kind of going out the window for like laptops. Desktops, you don't really care. I don't care if my desktop weighs 40 pounds versus 20 pounds. I don't care if it's an inch and a half taller or an inch and a half shorter. Well, my laptop, I do.
About 8 months ago, Prototype, the guy who was on the video with me for the AR, he got an Asus gaming laptop. I don't remember exactly which one, but about 10 months ago, and it already needs the thermal paste replaced in it. 10 months. And thermal paste replacement is not a standard user serviceable part. So
no, as a matter of fact, the old computer store I used to work with, Mothersboard Computers, that was like one of the bread and butter things that we did. Was people would come with laptops and they would just bug check constantly because they were overheating, and yeah, we'd have to rip out the motherboard, use a freaking like heating element like a heat gun or something to dislodge the glued on freaking heat sinks, add new material. I mean, it worked, but it was a massive undertaking to do. And usually there wasn't a manual on how to do it, so you had to kind of figure it out as you go.
Red Dog 828, he says, does vendor GPU binning affect your chance of getting a good overclocker with a stock card? That's true for every instance, not just GPU binning. For instance, Gigabyte advertises that they have a top tier binning process, but there's still binning within binning. There's bins inside bins inside bins, and with that being said, the GTX 970 G1 Gaming is a top tiered binning card. But it doesn't mean they're all going to perform the same or reach the same level. You're still stuck with the GPU lottery. So, yeah.
Yep. Same for CPUs too. It's always been a lottery. Let's see here. Let's see. Jason McSorley asked, and this is actually a personal friend of mine. That's cool. He asked a question. What object should I start with to learn how to make a 3D printer work, and what material would be best? Well, the material is the easy one. You want to start with PLA. PLA is the easiest material to 3D print in because it doesn't change form as much with rapid temperature changes, and it's the easiest to actually get to stick to a platform and like take off. ABS and everything else has quirks. That's your go-to material. As far as objects that you want to print objects that don't have overhangs to start. And by overhang, I mean print stuff that basically supports itself. If you were thinking of it from printing from a ground layer on up, that every single layer down below will support the layer above it. Don't try to print like things hanging out over something, because if you do that, then you have to start worrying about support material and how to configure support material, and it gets a little bit more complicated and takes a lot more trial and error.
Monopoly Man says, "What do you think? What do you think the future of console living room gaming PC is? Steam machine PC, or will peasant consoles continue to exist?" First of all, consoles have been around for 30 years. Consoles are not going anywhere.
Agreed.
But that doesn't. Okay, all joking aside, PC Master Race, console, peasant, whatever. Gaming is gaming, and that's what a console provides. That's what it's supposed to provide. That's what it does. I'm not against consoles. It's just fun to play the PC Master Race card. But consoles have a significant lead on the console PC perspective. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's
one thing
PCs.
I love about consoles, though. And the thing is, and the lines are getting blurred. Let's not even joke around about it. Like, consoles used to be things that you put freaking logic boards into, not CD media. They weren't connected to the internet and everything. That's now consoles are every bit the computer that your desktop computer is, just at a lower spec. I mean, and running different software. That's all they are. And for me, the thing I like about consoles is everybody's equal. You know, you're not going to have a faster, Xbox One than I do. You're not going to have an Xbox One that has different software capabilities or different peripherals. I mean, you might have a different joystick or something, but it's held to the same rules as everything else. So that's what I like about consoles. You sit down, you push a button, everybody has the same features, everybody has the same capabilities. I prefer gaming on a PC, because especially a high-end gaming PC, because it's just freaking beautiful and blows console out of the water at the high end of the spec. But I also appreciate being able to just go kick back in my bed, hit one button, be in the game, got my controller playing it, and I don't have to worry about it crashing. I don't have to worry about Skype crashing in the background and pulling focus. I don't have to worry about glitching in the operating system. I don't have to worry about micro stutter because something in the background decided to come along and do something. For the most part, there are some exceptions there, but I'm just saying the console experience is more just push a button and go. The PC experience is much more in-depth and optimized, and can be customized, but that all comes at a cost too. So that's why I like both. There's a place in my life for both, and I'm surprised that more people don't feel that way. You always have these people like PC Master Race or console Master Race, one or the other. It's like, I see there's plenty of room for both in my life. Hell, there's plenty of room in my life for all of them, right? I think I have every production console that's being made right now.
Yeah. Well, let me be entirely honest. I have Xbox 360. I've had it since it came out.
No.
Yeah, the console I actually used to do my video about how to use a keyboard and mouse on console, which people were like, "Oh my God, why are you being so biased against consoles? It's my console."
Did you get called a cheater too, by the way, when you did that?
Yeah, of course.
I did too. I reviewed the Zim Edge like an eon ago, and like the first 100 comments on the video was "Oh, you're a cheater. I'm reporting you." Like,
you know what's funny is I still got owned as bad as when I was using a controller.
I was worse with it than I was with a controller. I liked it better, but I was overall...
because there's no hardware acceleration like on a computer. But anyway, exactly. There's two reasons why I don't have an Xbox One or a PS4, even though I really want them. I really want them for multiple reasons. The Xbox One and its media aspect is perfect for the wife. The wife spends a lot of time on Netflix or Hulu and stuff like that. And because she doesn't really watch live TV, she has to catch up on her shows like I do. And I think that would be fantastic for her. PS4 has really good exclusives, and the daughter absolutely loves Kinect. Kinect, my daughter just could go for days and days on that. The reason why...
sorry, go ahead.
The reason why I don't have them is for two reasons. One, I just cannot. I don't have the thumb dexterity to make the controller do what I want it to do, and it's extremely frustrating for me. And the second thing is, I don't like spending $65 a pop for a game.
Yeah. I'll agree with you there. I think it's absolute bullshit that the PC gaming sales like come down really hardcore and the console sales don't. I mean, you're still paying $59 for a game when PC like months later has already dropped it down to like $20.
Yeah, but I'm still seeing comments. I understand why people can't get this, but this is kind of like one of those things that, left Twix, right Twix. Nobody's ever going to agree, right? So people are still saying stuff like, I don't understand why I would get a console when I can get the games with better graphics on my PC. But like Jerry said, you can't go lay in your bed and play on your desktop necessarily.
Yeah, and there's always the case like people are like, oh, but you can just run, the Steam Big Box? Run Steam Big Box or whatever and have your controller and everything. A lot of that stuff needs to be set up and configured. And again, the hardware is not all equal. So some games will work better than others. Some games are going to have known issues. You're going to have driver issues. I'm not saying that it's not possible for you to build a computer that runs perfectly as a console. I'm just saying that when I buy a console, it works the same as when my mom buys a console, my dad buys a console. Doesn't matter which store they go to, what they buy, everybody gets the same experience.
Yeah. Guys, and also too, please don't bitch and complain that we're not answering your question. Do you have any idea how many questions have come into Ask Tech Talk now in the last 16 minutes? So we're doing the best we can. We're answering the questions we think we're going to help a lot of people here. Okay, so Sebastian55 says, do you guys think one day 4K will come to consoles? Of course it will.
Oh, absolutely.
The optimization.
I'd say in the next generation. I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen in the next generation, like immediately after this one.
Well, all it takes is the hardware to be able to push the pixels. I mean, remember, it is 4 times the resolution of 1080p, and current consoles still aren't doing 1080p. So, it's just going to take some time. But
power counts anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once the screen resolution has become the norm and it's starting to appear in everybody's living rooms. Remember how long it took 1080p to be the norm? I think 2 years after 4K is at standard pricing like 1080p is when consoles will be able to push it. That's my prediction. I mean, it's not going to be a matter of when the TVs become affordable as much as it is when the hardware can push it in that size package. That's the challenge.
And let's be honest, even historically, like resolution has always been way ahead of the graphics horsepower to drive it. Like I even remember back in the day when I had a 386 DX40, and I knew somebody who had a 1600 by 1200 4x3 Sony Trinitron 21-inch display. It was like a $5,000 monitor.
Yeah.
But, it's like that resolution existed even back then. We're talking when TVs 360p was the norm, and computers had, the 1600 by 1200 resolution. And nobody could run it. Like seriously, there wasn't a single game back then that you could run at that resolution on that low end hardware. But it existed.
Larry Kozlowski is asking, Jay, how do you feel about small form factor water cooled PCs? I'm wanting to build one for a LAN. Small form factor PCs and water cooling go hand in hand very, very well. A small water cooling system custom loop will do a lot better than an air cooling system will. Even though it will run hotter than, say, a full-size loop on a desktop, it's still going to be way more beneficial to do small form factor water cooling than it will be to cram a small, low-profile air cooler in there.
You know what I saw the other day I thought was really cool was it was like a Tupperware container with an entire micro ITX build inside of it with a high-end graphics card, and it was full of mineral oil, and the top was sealed, and it just had one hose going in and one hose going out with the pump. Yeah. And I was like, That's kind of cool. I kind of like that because it was small, and everything was submerged. So
it's really funny.
Had really good heat distribution.
It's really funny to me that the mineral oil thing is coming around again. It's been around for a long time, but it's just funny.
We had one 15 years ago. Motherboard computers in an aquarium just full of mineral oil.
I want to show this real quick. I think this is perfect here. You'll see it on the stream. So Gaz Gray, also known as the Devious ST on Twitter, he says, does this put the nail in the head for Ubisoft? It's a picture of death, and it shows a door with watchdogs and blood coming out of it, and the crew with blood coming out of it, and AC Unity with blood coming out of it, and death is knocking on Far Cry's door. Far Cry 4. I'm wondering, I want Far Cry 4 to be great because I want to have a new benchmark to do in my lineup. And if Far Cry 4 turns out to be optimized terribly as well, then GPU benchmarking as we know it is going to be relying entirely on synthetic benchmarks, which is terrible.
Honest, I thought Far Cry 3 kind of ran like shit.
A lot of people said that. But
I couldn't get it to run smooth on nothing, even on the console. I didn't like the Xbox 360 experience. Like it just seemed really, really kludgy.
But it wasn't that as much as it required. It was like the whole Crisis thing where it required high-end hardware to run decent. The difference we're having now is high-end hardware is not able to run these games at non-glitchy performance. Like the stuff going on with AC Unity is glitches, not frames per second related in the sense of, you know, it's low FPS. It's just all over the place.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys.
I can see that picture now. That's great.
Yeah. We got 10 more minutes here, guys, and then we're going to get out of here. Jerry's going to go have some dinner with the fam, and I'm going to do a video tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go to bed kind of early tonight, too, because, oh, my God, I went to bed at 4:45 a.m. and woke up at 9 a.m. because I forgot I had an appointment. So it's like, oh.
The struggle is real, Jerry.
The struggle is real. First world problem, guys. First world problems.
Yeah.
Let's see. You want me to grab one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's do this. Ask TikTok. Do a little refresh.
Someone wants to know what the black and yellow speakers are behind you on your other system.
Oh, I can absolutely tell you. Those are KRK Rocket 5s. They're actually studio monitors, and each one of them has a dedicated, I believe, 80 or 100 watt amplifier built into it.
Yep.
And their entire purpose in life is just to accurately reproduce audio. That doesn't mean make audio sound fantastic.
Exactly.
Just acts. Yeah, it shows every flaw. If you
think
don't
of
put like an MP3, you hear every artifact in it.
Think of it this way, guys. Studio monitors are the IPS of sound. They recreate the sound exactly as recorded, so you can actually accurately mix and do your EQ and stuff like in a recording studio. It's not going to give you punchy bass. It's not going to give you super crisp highs. It's going to play it exactly as it was recorded at the exact same rate.
Super flat. And you'd be surprised how much music sounds completely different on them. It's kind of bizarre. And the other thing is they're called near field monitors too. So you basically have to have them pointed right at your ears. Even if you just point them straight out, it alters the tone. They got to be literally like the cone of sound that comes out of them is incredibly narrow. So it's almost like headphones in a way.
I want to answer this question.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to answer this question real quick, and I'll let you grab a couple. It's just as funny.
Sure.
Gaming Watt 25 says, "How's CPUs going to be in the future?"
Ooh, I saw that one. Yeah,
they're going to be faster. I mean, that's all.
No, but I think they're kind of they're running out of space where they can go like they're hitting the theoretical max at how fast you can move electrons like through freaking metal. I mean,
which is why we have not been able to have 5 gigahertz out of the box CPUs, guys. Yes, I know AMD has a 5 gigahertz CPU. It's technically just an overclock, but anyway, we're talking about base clock. 5 gigahertz doesn't exist because the silicon can't transfer it fast enough. So instead of going
now you have more
this
cores,
way,
right?
we're going this way.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You'll see. I was actually just giving a visual of what you said. Instead of moving forward on speed, we're moving sideways on bandwidth.
Yep. So now we add more cores. And that's supposed to give us more performance, but then you have to change how you program things and how software works fundamentally to take advantage of it. But then there's also going to be a point where, you're going to have 5,000 cores and 6,000 cores and 8,000 cores, and they're going to have to figure something out. Yeah. So, and they've already been, what's that computer they successfully built? What was it? The tri-state computer, the neural networking computer. Remember the neural networking computer that was an IBM or whatever? They actually have like a functioning version of. You're going to start seeing now that instead of making faster processors, they're going to change how processors process.
Right.
They're literally just going to change the language entirely.
Let's be honest. Computers as we know them right now are running 50 to 60-year-old technology in terms of how silicon works.
Yeah, nothing's changed. The whole idea of a CPU is you have a whole bunch of instructions, and each one of these instructions activates a circuit that moves something from something and then something to something again and something, and it does it millions or billions of times.
Yeah.
A second, and that hasn't changed. They're just faster.
Yeah.
And more instructions. That's the other thing too. Is it's like earlier CPUs. Now we've got like instructions for everything, and and then we have the extensions, which are like what is it, SSE, SSE2, MMX, all that shit that I don't even know if that stuff's been used anymore.
I'm hoping in my lifetime, maybe it won't happen, but in my daughter's lifetime, more than likely for sure, she'll get to see the new material. I want to know what the new material is going to be. I mean, guys, if you guys don't know right now, technically we use sand. Sand is very fine, very clean sand is refined into a wafer that turns into a CPU. It's really just sand. The same stuff you make glass out of is what we use for CPUs. I'm just wondering what the new tech is going to be. It's probably going to come from the moon or something like that. Who knows? Mars. We're going to start mining other planets for CPU materials.
Well, it'll probably be like some new alloy that we create. or some
On
new,
accident?
like I said, some accidental alloy that's created and it'll be radioactive or something like that. But no, it's like I've seen some of the crazy stuff that they came up with, like for insulating, right?
Ooh.
Like the air. Have you seen that air gel stuff?
I have actually.
That stuff is so crazy because it's like I saw a video of a guy holding one. It's lighter than air. You literally can just like throw it up, or not lighter than air. It's almost the same density as air, so it just floats around, and you can just barely wave your hand at it and it floats. But the cool thing is it doesn't transfer heat. They had I was watching a video of a guy holding the block of air gel, and he had an oxyacetylene torch because it doesn't burn either.
I've seen this.
And he's just blasting the side of it, and he does it for like a minute.
Yep.
And the heat never transfers to the other side.
Yep.
That is freaking amazing. Think about the applications for something like that. I mean, especially if you're working on a CPU and you need to create something where you have multiple layers and wafers and stuff, like the stacked memory and stacked cores and stuff like that.
Windows in homes, windows in cars, the amount of heat you can reflect, and if you have insulation in your walls, and the amount of energy reduction you have, and the overall global impact of that, just on one application. I have a question here we can both answer, actually.
Okay.
Michael on Twitter @Berry75 says, he's actually asking about a jerry rigged coming up. Is there a jerry rigged? Okay, this is actually the question I wanted. Wolf Akami. It keeps moving on me. Do you think it would be possible to get into tech YouTubing at this time? And the reason why I wanted to answer that was my channel is just over 2 years old. Your channel is, what, 6 or 7 years old, but you didn't get serious about it until the same time I came along.
Yeah, we got interested around the same time. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but plenty of people in the past have said, the YouTube sphere is clogged. Don't even bother. You can't go anywhere these days. Linus, love him as much as I do, at one point used us as an example of people who could get semi-success out of YouTube a year ago, and look where we are today. He was like, oh yeah, there's little channels out there that can, gain little audiences and stuff. I think 30K at the time, you had 50. Now look where we are. You're at over 250 and I'm at 170. You can do this. All you've got to do is have your own twist on it.
No, I completely, I have nothing else to say. Just like Jay said, you just have to have a unique edge and find the audience that resonates with that. That's all it is.
If you want me to be downright honest, the tech YouTube arena has lots of room for people. There are not that many tech YouTubers. If you want to be honest, the amount of tech YouTubers who actually have gained traction and are growing fast in this community, there's like 12 channels. 12. How many gaming channels are there? How many vlog channels are there? That's where you have a hard time growing.
And even then, you still see vloggers popping up all the time that, fly by night sensations. I mean, you just have to. I mean, I don't want to say you have to be special or you have to be unique. I mean, that sounds like something like your parents would say to you.
Something that makes them come back.
Yep.
You have to have something.
You just need something different. Don't replicate other people. The other thing is, I'm not saying don't do something that somebody else is successful at doing or incorporating it into your bit. I'm not saying that at all, because there's only so many things you can do, right? But don't just copy people. I see a lot of channels popping up that you can tell by watching it. You immediately know exactly who they're trying to be like.
Yeah,
and
you can't you can't just copy everybody. And by copying, guys, it doesn't mean the topic or subject matter. I mean, Jerry is accused of copying me. I'm accused of copying Jerry. We're both accused of copying Linus. Linus is accused of copying so-and-so. So-and-so is accused of copying Linus. It's because we all have the same network or the same media reps. And we get the same stuff around the same time. But it's the way you present it. Your Sennheiser Urbanite video is drastically different than my Sennheiser Urbanite video, and vice versa.
Yep.
And not only that,
videos are drastically different.
And not only that, some channels would love it if every other tech channel just disappeared off the face of the planet and they were the only one. But that doesn't do the community any good either, because you have to have diversity in these reviews.
Yeah. And the other thing is there's a common misconception that people just have their one favorite that they watch. Well, I personally happen to know that a lot of people that watch Linus, watch Jay, watch me, a number of other people, even some people I don't know. It's because people build their community of trusted tech YouTubers, ones that make them laugh, ones that give them the hard specs, that's the differences, right? It's the differences and the nuances.
Like if you want hardcore,
I think there's room for it.
If you want hardcore PC spec, just downright tech info, then PC Per is where you go. Right? But if you want a more laid back, kind of a high level review, something that the beginner can understand, you watch my stuff. If you just want to laugh at somebody, you watch Jerry. Just kidding, Jerry.
Pretty much. No.
Did you see the picture that someone made on Twitter of all of us in like 8-bit format in a row?
No, I want that.
Are you kidding? There was a whole conversation on that yesterday, and you were included in it. How could you have not have?
I did not see that.
Okay, guys. Rule number 1: you must acknowledge your audience.
Yes. Hey, shut your hole. I tweet 10 times more than anybody else. Whirlpool Gaming actually asked a cool question. He said, "Do you think the processor tech will evolve so far that having a GPU would become obsolete?"
Intel wants that now.
I think all the CPU manufacturers want that now. But the thing is GPUs and CPUs are radically different in their approach. CPUs are about having an ability to process a lot of things well, but not fantastic, and with minimal cores and being efficient. GPUs are about, let's see how many electrons we can throw through this son of a bitch with as many cores as humanly possible we can get on a chip and the fastest memory humanly possible to basically process floating point numbers. I mean, it's just a super fast calculator.
I'm trying to find this. I want you to see this image or this picture somebody made of us. It was pretty amazing.
I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah, it was all of us, and it was Linus, Logan, Luke, you, me, Paul's Hardware, Awesome Sauce, Austin Evans. We were all in there, and it basically was captioned "TechTubers Unite," and I actually thought it was really cool that you and I were included in that, because of all of those channels, we're the
hell out of it.
All of those channels, you and I are the smallest out of all those channels, but yet the community considers us included in that tech YouTuber sphere of the pros, which I think is extremely humbling, first of all, because I thought none of this would ever work, and second of all, it goes to show that even though some people in the beginning, and it wasn't Linus guys who told me not to bother, by the way. I see people saying how could Linus say that? Wasn't Linus that told me not to bother. It was actually,
surprisingly, Linus has been hugely supportive, and actually everybody has. I can't think of anybody that hasn't been very, very supportive in the tech YouTuber space.
Well, actually, the person who said it's useless to build a channel right now was actually Wings of Redemption. That's who said it. But that's a whole.
Wings is kind of going through a rough time right now, though.
This was about a year and a half ago when he said that, right as he started to have his crumbling. But here's the thing. Nobody should ever tell you not to do something. There was a day you uploaded a video, and guys, I'm not trying to sound preachy. If you guys want to make a video or you want to make a channel, just freaking do it. Because there was a time when Jerry had 0 views and 0 subs. There was a day I had 0 views and 0 subs. We didn't go one day, okay, we're going to start a channel, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and boom, there's 100,000 subs. It doesn't work that way. You made a video at one point because you loved making videos even though not a damn person watched it. You need to keep making videos with that mindset. Because if your mindset changes about why you're making videos, then you won't be humble about it and you won't freaking grow. That's the truth. That's how you grow. People keep asking, what's the secret to the growth? There is no freaking secret. You make the videos, you love the videos, you evolve, you keep doing it.
And the thing is no matter what, there's certain things you have to do as a YouTuber, whether it feels right or wrong, and you have to do it tactfully and right. And that is, you do have to be able to promote your channel, and you do have to be able to get people to watch your videos. And you do that through a couple ways. Make good videos, right? Make stuff that you'd want to watch. Annotate the shit out of it and put all the data in it accurate, because if you lie to try to get people to come to your videos, they're just going to tear them apart and then never come back to your channel again.
Yeah.
I know this from experience early on, but
yeah.
And the thing is you do have to, you do want to self-promote, but you have to do it in a way that's tactful and makes sense. You don't want to just start spamming all the big YouTubers and say, retweet this, retweet this, retweet this. When you do that, you usually just end up getting on a blocked or muted list, because everybody's doing it. That immediately singles you out and just puts you in the pot of, here's all the tryhards that aren't really wanting to do. All they care about is just being famous. They don't care about.
Look at the stream.
Fun.
Do you see the picture?
Oh, that is awesome.
So from left to right, there's Logan, Paul, me, and they had the size pretty accurate, although Paul's a little taller than he really is. But there's Logan, Paul, me, Linus, Luke, Kyle, you, and then Austin Evans.
That is awesome. Yeah, and I know it's me because I got the Triforce shirt on. Nice.
Yep. And you know it's me because it's a black t-shirt.
Yep. Oh, dude, that is awesome. And yeah, the little goatee.
Yep.
Dude, that's awesome.
I thought they got the perfect shade of brown and gray mixed in there perfectly.
Dude, that's awesome. No, it's just save that locally, because I want you to send that to me earlier. Like, send me the URL or something. I want to go there.
Yeah, when we're done here, I will send you the tweet ID.
Dude, that is freaking awesome.
Yeah, a fan made that for all of us.
What the question was and what Jay was saying is if you want to create a YouTube channel and you want it to grow, you have to put a lot of work into it. You have to be unique. You have to be tactful. And above all, you have to be patient. Because Jay and I, it took us a very, very, very long time to grow organically like we have.
Yeah.
and resist the urge to take shortcuts. As soon as you start doing bots and signing deals with trade for trade and sub for sub and doing all, you've ruined your channel. It's done. As soon as you do that, there's no coming back from that. When you go and build your entire audience on a bunch of fake shit that you bought, or trading with other people just to cross build your audiences with people that don't actually watch videos or do anything, you end up just hurting it. It gets you nowhere.
My two honest suggestions to build on what Jerry just said is, number one, the problem with doing what Jerry just described is people are, if you do it the right way, which is you build your circle, your bubble, your one page of YouTube, of the millions of pages there are inside of YouTube, your one page, you do it your way, people are going to accuse you of being arrogant, stuck up, or not wanting to collab with other people. But you need to protect your sphere and make it your own. Only collab with the people that you genuinely enjoy collabing with because you like them as people, not for their audience size or any other reason. The second thing is, for the love of God, do not build your channel on giveaways. Giveaways are going to bring an audience that is only there for the giveaways. They're not going to watch. It's going to hurt your growth. It's going to hurt your psychological aspect of your channel.
Very true.
And giveaways are something you do as a thank you for special occasions and things, not just be like, oh, I got 200 subs from that last giveaway. We should do another one to get another 200 subs. You're not building an audience that enjoys you when you do that.
No, it's true. That's absolutely true.
So, all right, guys,
and don't let people derail you. That's the last thing I'll put there. Is don't let people derail. Don't focus on the 3 or 4 people that are telling you what you're doing is wrong and that you're worthless and blah blah blah. And keep changing and keep changing and keep changing. Pick your path, do what you know, and keep doing it. And eventually, those will start becoming the minority. Trust me. Early on, everybody told me to stop doing everything that I'm doing today.
People still tell us to stop doing what we're doing today.
Stop trying to be funny all the time. But dude, unsub. You're a tech broadcaster. Oh, you made a mistake on a word. Unsub. You need to fix that graphic. You need to stop doing that. I used to be knee-jerk reaction to that and be like, oh, I got to change. I got to change. I got to change. It sent me in the wrong direction. It wasn't until I just put down my foot and it's like, you know what? I'm going to do what I like to do. I'm going to do what's funny to me, what I enjoy doing. And eventually the right audience starts to flood in. But sometimes that means that you lose some in the beginning. It's unfortunate.
When you lose someone who didn't like something that you did, you're left with supporters. That's the way it really works out. That you are left with people who appreciate what it is you're doing. So you just continue to build on that. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen quick. 2 years now, and I'm finally starting to see some real growth over the last maybe 5 months.
Yeah, so it's a slow process. If you're doing it right, it's a little bit of a slow process.
And I think everybody watching right now, a lot of people really are aspiring to be famous YouTubers. And let me tell you something. It is not all cookies and rainbows up here.
No.
And you guys have seen it. There have been quite a few people in this chat tonight wanting to do nothing but scream derogatories at us. But
we get scream derogatories. I get death threats. I get people calling me. It sucks.
Every single day. Every single day, every minute of the day, every video we've made is full of that stuff. But you just
because remember, as soon as you become famous, people don't see you as a person anymore. They just see you as a means for them to get famous or get attention. And it sucks. That's the part that sucks about it.
And by the way, if you guys,
the great part is what.
I don't know if you've gotten it, but I've gotten emails before from people that are like, "Hey, you're a channel the same size as mine. Want to collab?" No. The answer is pretty much always no when they word it that way.
Yeah, you don't really get a lot. You don't get a lot from those. Or like my favorite one is I get about 5 emails every single night from some Chinese distributor of some website that's only in China that sells products I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
And they're like, we love videos, all do, big channel, great, work great now. And then it's got like some fancy thing with the CEO. And you go click on it, it's a legitimate website. They've got ratings on the Chinese review sites and everything. Yeah. But it's like that you can tell from the way that it's worded and the way that they're talking to you, all they did was search for the top channels in a certain area and then just email them all.
Yeah.
Like there was no video watching. There was nothing there. So, and I don't respond to that when people just come to me. It's like, oh my God, you got a really big channel. I love you. I've been your biggest sub for the longest time, but then they can't even name a single video that you've done.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, we're actually 10 minutes over. Jerry's got to go spend some family time.
Go get my food on because I'm starving, guys.
I'm gonna go do a video tonight, and heck, man, it's the end of the week. Thank goodness.
I know. I lose track of the days now, man. I really do. That's the one thing about working for yourself is it's like I don't remember when it's weekend and when it's weekday because I'm always doing stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, as always, we appreciate all of you. If you guys stumbled across my channel here, hit that sub button if you like what you hear. If you've never seen Jerry before, I think you should go check out his channel. It is just barnnerd.com. Barn
Here, I'll
Nerd.
type it in there, right down there. Barnnerd.
It might not work. You can't do links in the chat.
Oh, really?
Oh, it lets you do it. Okay, it's weird. Normally, it doesn't let me do links. So there you go, guys. Barnnerd.com. Follow on Twitter
hit
for
that
all
like
the
button on the video
latest.
if you guys enjoyed the stream. There's 1,150 of you in here. That would be awesome. If we can get those likes over 1,000 on these videos, it actually helps a lot. It really does.
And we do this every single week together. So every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time is Tech Talk. As always, guys, we love each and every one of you, and we will see you in the next one. Time to roll the outro. Go take it away, Jerry.
This is the outro where we talk about things, wrapping it up, but we don't really talk about things because it's the outro. See you later, guys. Thank you for stopping
It's still
by.
going.
Is it still going?
It's still going. It's buffering.
Still-
Buffering
hit the
now.
like button. Hit the like button.